What's going on there, guys? My name is Pod, coming at you guys with another Battlefield 4 Aggressive Recon, because you know what day it is, right? Yeah, it's a day of forgiveness. I'm sorry, guys, I was a day late. I apologize. To be completely dishonest with you, I was having sex yesterday. All day, entire day. On my couch. With a loaf of bread. No crust, no crust. Wow, that escalated. But this is actually a standard commentary instead of live one. I've been doing a lot of live commentaries lately. But honestly, I pulled a muscle yesterday. I ended up buying a fish tank because whether or not you know this or not, I love animals and fish. Not like to eat or anything. I actually dislike seafood. But I love fish tanks. I've grown up with them with all kinds of animals. And I decided to pick one up because it was a really, really good deal on one. And I ended up throwing out my back when doing it because... my biceps aren't good enough anymore. I'm getting too old, guys. So, unfortunately, that happened, but I've got a cool little fish tank up and running. That's okay. But anyways, back on track. Today's episode, I'm going to be focusing on telling you guys a few things. A lot of people have been asking me over episodes and friends on TeamSpeak and everything like that. You know, how do you snipe? Why are you so good? Even though I'm not a shadow of what I used to be. How do you play aggressively? I see people that do well and sit back, but you get up close and personal. How do you make that become a successful thing? How do you have the reaction time? So I thought maybe combine my thoughts, little tips that I have to give to you guys to maybe teach you guys to up your game in the aggressive recon category. So that's why we're kind of doing a commentary today. So, of course, before we make you into the ultimate sniper, I want to talk to you guys about the Rocat Series giveaway. If you guys want to, every Saturday we give away a Rocat cone. If you've not checked them out yet, I'm going to beat it into your head until you do. Rocat.org. Check out their accessories. They have the best keyboards, headsets, and mice around. I've been using them for a good couple months now, and I've been happy with the transition. If you're looking for something awesome and affordable, check them out yourself. And also just say, I'd like a cone down below to enter into the Rocat cone giveaway, which is one of their mice, by the way. Now, let's just jump right into it. Now, the first general rule that you need to do when you're learning to become a bolt action, especially when you're trying to get that aggressive kind of stance in there, you need to stick to one gun at a time, especially in Battlefield 4, because there's so many variations in stats. You know, muzzle velocity, fire rate, bullet drop, so many things change from sniper to sniper. You need to get consistent and reliable and comfortable with one. So stick to one at a time. Don't be selfish, you little man whore. Stick to one at a time. Use it for a couple days, and after you've used it for a week, you move on to another gun, and then you'll start getting used to it. And it's less of a transition, less of a learning curve when you get used to those guns versus, you know, shifting back and forth every other game between them. You're going to need a little bit of time to warm up between them. Now, if you're a little bit more used to them and you use them over steady terms, you're going to be okay with it. Now, a next rule of thumb is exactly what I taught myself to become a little bit more confident in close quarter fighting with a bolt action, is back in Battlefield 3, I used the M98 with the high damage, and I always put the holographic on it. Now, I like this because it allowed me to get a little bit more comfortable. I also got to see where my shots landed, and it just taught me how to be a little bit more accurate and reliable with chest shots overall. I think the holographic does a great job at that, because if you're in close quarters, it's got the low magnification, and that circle just is pinpointed on center mass. Take that shot. Above all, it also still has that little red dot, that little reticle, little nipple right in the middle of the circle that kind of lets you know where they are, and it still allows you to get long-range sniping if you want to do so. So again, it's the perfect sniping scope to get used to close quarters, letting you know how you can be a little bit more confident and secure in getting those kills. Now, after you've moved on from that, now this one is a little bit more tricky because this complicates not only bullet drop, but accuracy, and it's something you're going to have to compensate for later on, and this is using the suppressor. Now, this is something that I teach people to do basically because it kind of teaches you the importance of bullet drop, the importance of leading your shots, and a handful of other things, to be honest. But again, after you get used to this, you're going to have to wean yourself off of it. To just be straight honest with you, you're basically going to have to learn sniping all over again. And most of you would be like, well, what's the point then? Honestly, it does have value behind it because it does teach you a lot, and it allows you to be a little more confident because the suppressor actually does keep you off the radar, meaning you're going to get a few extra shots of some of those things that you probably would not have been able to do so. It teaches you a little bit more about flanking, and again, up close and quarters, which you've been seeing a little bit in this gameplay starting about now. You see I'll use the M98 with it. You know, so again, you're going to have to worry, you're going to have to lead your shots a little bit more. Tons of things factor in using the suppressor, but it has its bonuses, and it's still useful in close quarters. It generally just doesn't even impact anything in close quarters. So, while you're learning that, as a pro tip, try to do that in close quarter situations. Outside of that, there's not too much more that I can teach you guys. A good secondary is always a good thing. Don't use the shorty. A lot of maps nowadays are settled and surrounded by water. You're going to need to be able to have that out. Unfortunately, can't pull out the shorty. And again, seeing as how most of these guns do a maximum damage, you know, high 80s, 90s, and stuff like that is something you're going to see a lot of. Have something like the P226, something that's got a lot of ammunition so that you don't even have to worry about aiming down sight after you do the damage. Just hit fire until one of the shots land, and you'll generally have enough that you could probably clean up a secondary guy with that secondary if you need to. So, hopefully this advice has taught you something. Again, suppressors are great to learn close quarters combat because it allows you to get a few more shots in case you're getting missing. You don't have to worry so much about missing the shot and timing it perfectly. You can take bolder risks with the suppressor. Again, it affects range more than anything. The farther back you are, the more it's gonna hurt you. And it's just one of those things to teach you a little bit more confident. Holographic or a coyote is great too because it allows you to get a little bit more used to the bullet drop with shorter magnification. But last up, and probably the most important thing that you need to take away from this video, is you have to stand still when you shoot. Believe it or not, you're going to make sure that every one of your shots misses its target if you're moving when you're shooting. This is something I actually learned from playing Call of Duty. And I know it sounds weird to make that reference, but it was a hard thing to teach myself. And as much as it seems like a basic advice, don't move when you shoot, a lot of people do. They panic, they move. Now, it's okay to aim down sight and then move around, line up the shot, and then stop moving, then shoot. It's stutter stepping. You make sure at least you're not moving when you shoot. You can move any other time while you're aiming down sight, trying to line it up, trying to strafe, whatever you want to do. No matter what you do, you have to stand still while you shoot, or your bullet is not going to go where intended. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. Smack that like button like it owes you money, and stay moist, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't. Look what happened.